God, I'm gonna be sick.
Why won't I pass out? Oh, God, please let me die. Oh, he just put some intestines back and took different intestines. What the fuck does it matter?
So we are here to talk about the 2015 movie Freaks of Nature, directed by Robert Pickering. Now this is a weird comedy sci-fi horror hybrid, and the story basically takes place in an American town which just coincidentally happens to be shared with humans, vampires and zombies. And there's kind of almost a bit of like racial tension between these kind of three species. However, one day they're actually invaded by aliens, which initially sets off a kind of a civil war between these three factions and ultimately kind of brings them together to come against the alien menace. So what do I think about Freaks of Nature? It's a bizarre movie because it actually was far more of a kind of polished Hollywood production than I was expecting. So first of all, go off with the positives. It is quite a polished movie. The actual production design here is really good. I think it's got a pretty decent cast. There's absolutely loads of kind of famous people who you're going to recognise. I mean, no massive name actors, but you've got Patton Oswalt, you've got Dennis Leary, you've got Vanessa Hudgens, Joan Cusack. There's quite a few familiar faces here, to name just a few. And the second thing, obviously, in regard to that, is the kind of the special effects and just the kind of the scope of it is just kind of larger than your average B-movie. So you have all sorts of things. You've got prosthetics for the vampires and the kind of the zombies. You've got aliens and they're kind of full CGI kind of like big sort of War of the Worlds type aliens almost. So the kind of effects are all pretty decent. When we do use kind of CGI, it's all pretty good. And it is a reasonably gory film as well. There are a couple of reasonable gore moments there, and it does have a couple of amusing moments as well. For me, the best thing, I guess, is the three leads. Essentially, it falls down to a human, a vampire, and a zombie to kind of team up and ultimately kind of lead the force against these kind of aliens. And I think the chemistry and the relationship between those kind of central three characters, it really kind of is this kind of the backbone of this movie, and you kind of buy into that. But there is a negative, and it's a big one. The first, I would say, act of this movie, the first third of this movie is a mess, and we don't really get that kind of dynamic until we get past that first third of the movie. I absolutely hated the first third of this movie for a number of reasons. It's just a mess, to be honest with you. It's there's absolutely no world building. It just kind of throws you into this kind of situation where you just have kind of zombies and vampires all kind of sharing this school, for example, with humans. We don't know why, we don't know the world that this is living in. It just kind of throws you in. So I feel we could have done a bit more kind of world building to kind of really kind of ease you into this world. The other kind of weird thing it does, it's certainly with the female vampire and to a degree the zombie, you don't really feel like you're knowing the characters. It's going to be a main character. So it does a pretty poor job of really kind of introducing you and kind of getting you to know what will become the kind of the three main characters. And it introduces you to all these kind of peripheral characters, which I feel don't really need so much screen time. I feel it takes away ultimately from the main leads. And ultimately it tries to be funny in that first third, and it just doesn't come across. It just becomes a bit of a mess, and it's ultimately a little bit dull. So once you get past the first third, I feel it picks up quite a bit, and that's really down to the kind of the relationship between these three guys. We have kind of less characters we've got to worry about, and we can kind of concentrate on the relationship between these kind of three characters. And we have some fairly good sort of action sequences. Like I said, it is a comedy, so there are jokes. They don't all land for me. There are a couple of genuinely kind of funny ones, but there are also a lot of jokes I felt that were quite flat. Ultimately, it finishes in somewhat of a spectacular fashion, and again I had kind of mixed feelings about the ending. Overall, I would say I like the ending, but there are a couple of, I can't really go into it because I'll obviously spoil it, but I was a little bit not 100% about it. But overall, I feel it's actually, if you look at it as a whole, it's a pretty decent, fun movie. You know, it rattles on at a fair old pace once you kind of get past that first third of the movie. I think the first third of the movie is terrible and will put a lot of people off. To be honest with you, it really put me off, and I was like, oh man, this is going to be a real struggle to sit through. But I kind of got engaged once you kind of get through that part and we actually have these kind of three characters on their own. So overall, I'm going to give this movie a 6.5 out of 10, roughly 2/3. So that's what I'm going to give this movie. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.